No me importa lo que de mí se diga, vive usted vida que yo vivo la mía, que solo una disfruta el momento, que el tiempo se acaba y para atrás no vira. Viviendo, fumando y oyendo, siga vacilando de party todos los días. Síguelo, wow, wow. Síguelo, wow, wow. Pepa y agua para la seca, todo el mundo es patía en la discoteca. Pepa y agua para la seca, todo el mundo es patía en la discoteca.
I'm as hurt as you are, Mike. I think you speak for all of South Florida. It's what they wanted.
Why?
You can't give them what they want. You can't. You can't let them. You gotta be brave, and you gotta pretend like it doesn't hurt. You gotta. Yeah, we'll get the next guy. You can't.
There's no more next guy.
You gotta hide. You gotta hide your feelings. You can't. You can't.
He did all the things. We lost out on Westbrook. We lost out on Mitchell. We lost out on Harden twice. We lost out on Durant
Mike,
twice.
this is cheap for clicks. Tens of thousands of people show up to eat the tears. You can't give them you can't give them the cheap. What you're doing is it's cheapening us.
They were all right. Bradley Beal. They were all right. The offer wasn't good enough. Arrogance. Oh, vanity. One of the 7 deadly sins. One of the 7 deadly sins. Russillo got our ass. Oh.
He looks so good in that jersey.
Oh, he does. It's such a fit. My eyes don't even have to adjust from the Blazers colorway. It's so perfect. And now I want Drew Holiday.
I was getting those arguments yesterday. I was getting those arguments from Heat people. They're like, look at Drew Holiday's 3-point percentage against
I don't want to. Look at his age. Look at the fact that he's not Damian Lillard.
Amin called him a corpse yesterday.
Oh.
Which seems unreasonable and emotional commentary.
I can't believe we're doing this show. I thought we were just going to have a cocky parade right across the street. But this was our birthright. This was what we earned by just being us.
This is a hugely interesting story to me from a number of different angles that I imagine we will carry throughout the show today, because the Marlins are playing the most interesting week of baseball that they have had in a while.
They can't catch a break with these news stories.
The Dolphins score 70, but you say they can't catch a break because this represents a difference in my lifetime that I couldn't have seen coming, because the Dolphins are coming off of 70 and go into Buffalo for a hugely fascinating game. But we have watched over the years here the way the transaction has usurped the action. And what I am kind of floored by is that we are doing a show today that feels like the kind of show you would do after a finals game, because what this organization has taught us when they brought LeBron, Dwayne, and Bosh together and put it in an unreasonable place, and what cost them now is Portland says, no, the player doesn't have the power. The organization has the power, is that the transaction is so fascinating. And this one, which has a surprise in it, which is a bit rare, because a lot of the reporting before Milwaukee appeared yesterday was still about how Miami was the team. But here's what happened here, and I'm going to try and give you this as accurately reported as I can with actual information here. But what I'm telling you is that I don't have the whole truth. I have one version of the truth, which is the Heat's version of what they think happened here. I don't have the other side. But this is what I will tell you I think happened based on how the Heat feel about this as we talk today. They don't know what Portland was thinking because Portland wasn't communicating. So I'm of the belief that once this got into the Portland organization and they felt the hurt and betrayal of, what do you mean Dame, our guy, now says he just wants to go to Miami and says it so publicly that he's neutered our ability in a trade market, I believe Portland said right then and there in cutting off communication with Miami, the best offer will be not Miami's offer or necessarily the best offer. What we're looking for is, and only is, the best offer that's not Miami. And so where Miami lands with this is petty and spite and those things, but is it petty and spite if you have a player under contract and what you say is, we don't care about the best offer. It's not going to be better enough for us to say, yeah, do whatever you want. We're going to take the best offer that's not Miami, and we're going to go to the league, and we're going to get the league to start investigating and saying players can't do this. They can't take away all our trade leverage. You don't just get the player because the player wants it and another team wants it. You don't get to take the power from Portland that way. That's what I think happened here because the Heat don't know what Portland is thinking here because there wasn't talk back and forth about what Portland was thinking.
Heat fans have always said they want a guy. Say you want to be here, demand to be here, and it seems like it backfired.
He said it too passionately.
He didn't say it nearly passionately
He didn't say
enough.
it to the right guy. He said it to the other guy, which got the other guy mad. I'm so sad.
Do we owe Woj an apology?
Yes!
As a show?
Well,
Yes!
That's my question is why were Miami fans so certain if they were not getting any of this feedback from Portland? Like how come a month ago we were like, oh, it's going to happen. It's
when
just a
Woj
matter of when.
is like as accurate as anybody. If you would have said to me, who in sports is the best at this, I would have been like, Woj is always pretty right.
Well, I want to find out what it is Russillo said because I have not heard. I know Mike and Russillo go back and forth. I've never had any issues whatsoever with Russillo. Tell me what he said so I have some information here on what it is that I'm reacting to.
Well, we have video of that. We're going to cue it up momentarily. But I made the mistake of seeing that he put our name in his mouth, and then I just got emotional because I don't have to put everything on air, and every problem that I've had with Ryan Russillo, I've done the thing where I've gone directly to him, which is not something he likes to do. But he knows exactly where my issues are. But then I saw the clip, and I realized, oh, he got our ass. No, he's absolutely right here. And maybe that wasn't a right time for my emotion to leak out. Here is Ryan Russillo.
No, well, hold on a second. Just before you play it, I do want to preface on the front end of this because if I'm going to get into one of these media beefs or if I'm going to be publicly wrong with this crew of people, I want to make sure that everybody knows on the front end. Nothing but respect for Ryan Russillo, does his job exceptionally well, super informed on basketball things, works super, super hard, and has earned everything that he has. So I doubt I'm going to have very much bad to say about Russillo here. Go ahead and play it.
I'm sorry I have to do it because I couldn't believe it when it happened. But Woj came on and said very simply, Portland doesn't like the offers. They're going to see what happens. Dan Le Batard said this about Woj. Quote, "Thank you for bringing up Woj. The Heat know that he's just agenda-based shilling bought and paid for by Portland. It's embarrassing that Woj is telling people it might be weeks or months on Lillard." That was on July 17th. Bought and paid for. I'm like, man, if you're going to pick a fight with somebody who gets shit wrong, not Woj. And here we are, weeks, months later, and it wasn't Miami.
Yeah, fair criticism. I will go back to that show that we were talking and remember the details on that show where the next day, you remember I got aggregated, and the next day I came in and I said, well, I thought I had mentioned and said to everybody involved that this is the Heat's position on this, that Woj is bought and paid for, that Woj is somebody who's doing the bidding of Portland on this, so that it's not the truth that's getting out there. It's Portland's truth because nobody has Miami's truth. But it is fair criticism to say, because there is more context to that if you listen to all of the sound, but it is fair criticism to say that I got it wrong on weeks and months being embarrassing. I will not pull back, though, on how it is that Woj gets some of his information. He was doing the only information that was out there was the information that Portland wanted out there.
When someone says they hate to do this, do they?
Oh no, those guys love to do that. But this is one of the reasons that this is so fun, right? When I tell you that yesterday felt like a finals game, it's right there, man. When the stakes get ratcheted up to the country is laughing at a fan base's pain. That's one of the most, look, Jessica's hiding the smile on her face under her hair. Like every time this happens to Miami, this is the most, I don't know. We talked the other day, Amin said, what's more fun, loving or hating?
Yeah. Have you seen the meme of the two people fighting and then there's just that one dude on a bong loving life? That's Meadowlark Media and Ringer just like, no, the offer is good. No, he can't go to Miami because we're Celtics fans. And meanwhile, Milwaukee gets him for nothing. And Milwaukee's the best team in the Eastern Conference.
But let's backtrack for just a second here because the human parts of this to me are fascinating, okay? We remember Damian Lillard's start in Portland. It was adorable. He comes on our show and he's telling us about after his first contract, he's still trying to save money on valets, parking in different places because he's new to the fun of stardom. You develop not only a relationship with a city and its customers, you develop a real and human relationship with the people you are working for and around you in the front office, like interactive. You know these people, you know their families. This is your city. Like this is what the players are trading when they transact and make it this coldly. I want to leave this fan base that loves me. They're leaving an organization where you know the people in the hallways, you know the people who clean the lockers, you know all of this stuff. Damian Lillard said he wanted out and said he wanted out to those people who run the organization and need to get the best offer only to Miami. Damian Lillard.
Although there was that report that 10 days ago, his agent started reaching out to the Nets and the Bucks saying, Dame would go there.
I saw a video from All-Star last year where Giannis picked him first on his All-Star team and reports that they've been kind of flirting about this kind of situation for a while, Dan.
It's not just that they made Miami worse. It's that they made Milwaukee a good deal better. But I just want to go.
They made Milwaukee a great deal better. And Dan, they also put themselves in a situation where there's a lot of incomplete grades on this move for Portland. They get DeAndre Ayton. You can look at his averages and say, what's the problem with that? That's a good player. But Phoenix was in a real rush to get rid of him. And Amin said that they've upgraded. Addition by subtraction, and Nurkic actually fits their roster better. Now they've acquired Drew Holiday, and on a smaller scale, they found themselves in the exact same situation. A lame duck situation in which they don't have leverage because they know Drew Holiday doesn't fit their plans. So if they're going to do all of this for one draft pick, it's a little frustrating. Now, where my frustration lies is, I know that they didn't want to establish a precedent that Damian Lillard gets his way at 33 years old. I'm only going to one team. I understand how that opens up a can of worms for folks. My problem is the Miami Heat not being more aggressive because they finally had the player play ball. So what? You finally got your draft capital back. You go and get this guy. You lost Gabe Vincent. You lost Max Strus. You're counting on, yet again, the growth and development of your organization to turn guys in to Gabe Vincent and Max Strus. But the fact is, once again, the Eastern Conference has gotten better in offseason, and Miami misses out on a whale.
The Blazers also got a car. A Camaro. That's a Camaro joke? No? Nothing? They got a guy named Camaro.
Woof. We lost out on a whale!
You wanted to get in with that?
I was like, it's a little sweetener. They
That's what you wanted to get in with. My point that I was headed to before Mike's emotion derails everything here, because his criticism, admittedly, when it comes, yes, Chris Cody, penalty box. The group has spoken.
Nobody else thought it was a car.
The group,
was terrible.
The group has spoken. The joke's so bad, you get a rare loser game show sound and get out of here to the penalty box. Mike Ryan's analysis, like a lot of the Miami Heat fans' analysis, is going to be an anger tantrum. We didn't get the guy. We deserve the guy. Why are we so arrogant? Why are we not more aggressive? Brian Windhorst is now saying, and I don't know what the deal was. I've never said what the deal was. No one's accurately reported, as far as I can tell, what the deal is, because Windhorst is on saying he doesn't know if Tyler Hero was ever in the deal. I don't know what was offered.
Well, Tyler did have a very curious tweet that would suggest either he doesn't read the internet at all or that he wasn't in the deal, because Jimmy Butler posted his Instagram post of they should investigate the Bucks for tampering. And I don't know if that was a Gesundheit.
Bless you.
And I don't know if that was a sarcastic dig at how the league got involved a month and a half ago on the Heat's behalf, saying this can't stand, or if there's actually legitimacy behind that. Tyler Hero retweeted with comment what he said, which was kind of weird. He's co-signing on it's unfair that the Bucks got Damian Lillard when he was the guy that was rumored to be at the centerpiece of the package.
And so, because I don't know what the deal is, and because no one's confirmed accurately what the deal is, now you have Windhorst, who's also credible, saying he doesn't know that no one's confirmed whether Tyler Hero was ever in the deal or not. And if they weren't more aggressive in that regard, that seems somewhat silly. I want to go back, though, to what I was talking about, partnerships and the way these relationships are born, because the relationship that Portland had with Lillard, both of them can feel like they were responsible for each other's success, okay? This ended up breaking up Brady and Belichick at the end because of how these office dynamics and the relationships work. But Lillard is trying to keep his relationship with the city and the organization while putting the organization in the bad spot of, I will only go here. And when you do that, you reduce your organization's ability to conjure throughout the summer quietly good offers. Damian took the power, or tried to, with Miami's help, to take the power from Portland. And Portland wasn't answering the phone. Portland's like, no, we're not. No, you're not. You don't get the power here. Hard stop. And
so they were just chilling for a couple of months while all these reports are out there that seemed like just posturing and leveraging media partners, but they ended up being real. The Raptors were involved, and the Bucks ended up being the destination. They just sat idly by. They didn't want to play the game of, okay, maybe we'll throw another first-round pick, because if you see what he got, what Cronin got for this package, and you see what entities like the Ringer and ESPN, They filled months of programming with this, and all their hypothetical trade scenarios, it all had bevy of picks going back to Portland. They got one low first-round draft pick and a couple of pick swaps they won't actually execute. And they have an asset in Drew Holiday that is depreciating, and they're out of leverage there too.
When Roy comes on and yells yesterday during the thing that we did to give you our confused tears live as soon as the news broke. And I'm telling you, it felt like losing a finals game. Tens of thousands of people.
And you know the feeling.
Tens of thousands of people were gathered around the television, wherever it is that they view what we do, simply because they wanted to know what our pain and confusion looked like. And Roy yelled spite. And Amin, who sounded hurt and angry, Amin, who's in the tank for the Heat, but shouldn't have sounded hurt and angry, he called Portland petty. And I ask you the question, if you have a human relationship with someone like Damian Lillard throughout your building, and he has now made it harder for you to get what's best for your organization because of what he wants, has that organization been petty? Is it petty to react to Damian Lillard wanting the power, his agent wanting the power, and then Pat Riley and Mickey Arison and the Heat organization wanting Portland's power and saying, you have no leverage here. We have the leverage. And they're saying, we have him under contract. Is it petty for them to say, now you know what we're going to do? Best offer that's not Miami. We're not going to work with Miami. We're not going to try and flip Tyler Hero to some other organization that needs Tyler Hero more, if indeed he was in the offer.
There's always some excuse, man. This is dating back years. I try to rattle off all the whales that they missed out on, and I always end up forgetting like 5 of them. Hell, they even miss out on Jimmy Butler the first pass because they didn't want to give up Josh Richardson, and he ends up giving another one of his years to his prime to a Philadelphia team that was that close.
Now you have Josh Richardson.
We're spoiled with that, though. That argument that we never get a whale, we've gotten the whale way more. There's like more than half the league never gets anyone.
What?
Like, I'm just saying, where's Orlando's whale? Where's the
dude,
Wizards' whale?
Dude, Phoenix
I'm just saying, like, we're sitting here saying we never get the whale. We got Jimmy. We got the big 3. I'm frustrated too, but you can't say we don't get the whale.
What? Look, well, Washington was one of the teams that, remember, we missed out on Westbrook twice. Not that that would have been a good move.
Yes, we don't get every single big free agent.
No, not even free agent. We don't get anybody that we're actually targeting in the trade market anymore. We don't.
It's a great call by Chris Cody.
I mean, it's just
you got the 3 biggest whales at once.
At once, and I'm spoiled, and I feel entitled
where's
to
the
one
King's
other
whale?
You guys are so spoiled. I'm like angry sitting here because you had 2 teams in the finals this year. You have a football team that scored 70 points. You have a football team that's undefeated. College basketball teams in the Elite 8, just be happy. Just be happy where you are.
This might be the best time in South Florida sports history now.
One of them was in the Final Four.
If we're looking at all the
teams, none of them have
teams,
actually won anything the last year.
That is a really
and the
fair
Marlins
point.
We've been
are on
close.
the brink of not making the playoffs.
Wait a minute. You better slow your roll with your
know, I
Cubs.
shouldn't have said
That
that.
was a bad move by you. You allowed me the opening there with your Cubs. You cannot trust the Cubs. You can't trust them, but your
But
Cubs.
my Pirates.
Your
No, the Cubs stink. I saw a stat today that like the Cubs have blown more games that they were winning in the 8th inning or later than any other team since like the 1950s or something like that. It's just pathetic.
Scott Frost.
Pathetic. They are the Scott Frost of baseball teams.
Why isn't Pat Riley able to do what he did 12 years ago anymore? Why?
Because LeBron, Wade, and Bosh.
I know they took the assets, but they rebuilt the assets. They rebuilt them. So Donovan Mitchell, nothing. James Harden twice, nothing. Kevin Durant, nothing. Bradley Beal, we didn't want to give up Bradley Beal, and that was a spending thing, and that's also part of this.
I want to know.
Mad.
I want to know who we didn't give up, because you're saying that there was just no communication and that our offer. But if you're the Heat, you need to be more proactive on that. Like, you just got to keep throwing off, even if they're not responding. If this is like about keeping Caleb Martin, this is not a good look for the Heat.
But this is your reaction, okay? Look, man, I think people understand the way this part of it goes. This is where we value Damian Lillard everywhere. Ticket sales, merch sales, championship sales. As a business, this is where we place the value on somebody who's going to cost us $219 million. And I know you guys think it's easy to trade Dion Waiters and Hassan Whiteside and any contract. But I will tell you that one of the things that I heard yesterday on Is Portland Being Petty was the idea, are they still mad that we dumped Whiteside on them?
Dan, I'm trade machining Buddy Hield right now. I'm in a bad way.
But what I would say to you is if you place a value on someone and you've got an unwilling or a reticent negotiating partner that has the contract power and is willing to break the standard of we don't send the star wherever the star wants to go, we're going to keep the power. What do you do if, as I've been telling you for a week now, they set the value on X and said, we're not going over this to get a 33-year-old star who by the day is getting older and that contract becomes more difficult when we already have Lowry and Butler's big contracts after 35 that are going to be problematic as well. I know everyone thinks it's easy to just trade Hassan Whiteside and Dion Waiters and reinvent yourself with a bunch of players like Jimmy Butler, but the truth is somewhere in the middle, Mike, between you're spoiled and entitled. And there is reason to criticize that they swing and miss recently a lot in places where they could get their team better. And the offseason, instead of feeling like huge excitement of we get to again add the big giant name. You settle for Drew Holiday, who yesterday on the show, Amin called him a corpse, which I thought was terrible analysis.
Is that a real thing? Is that a real thing? Because
that's good analysis, Tony?
Yeah, Dan, I've stayed quiet for the last 20 minutes because obviously, as you see, I'm in mourning, I'm in all black, but I've realized a couple things that I've been writing down. One, I wrote down haters. Yeah, he wrote that. Do you know what that means, Dan? Everybody here is a hater. Okay, Ryan Russillo, who I love, by the way. I love Ryan Russillo. He bought me and Chris a beer in Manhattan Beach. He's the mayor of Manhattan Beach. Love the guy. But he's a hater. The Ringer are haters. I don't want to say it, but I will. Damian Lillard, hater.
What do you
Miami
mean?
hater. And listen to this, Dan.
What
If
do
you
you
want to go
mean?
down this rabbit hole with me for a second, I wrote down another thing. PSYOP.
He wrote that too.
Okay.
Okay, well, take
Let's
us.
go back
I
to what
regret,
let's
I
go
regret
back-
asking, but go ahead.
Let's go back to what Jess said earlier this segment. Let's go back. 2022 All-Star Game. Who was Giannis's first pick? Damian Lillard.
and Steve Martin also.
Right, but no, I'm getting to a point here.
Well, he's right. You wrote down other points that
Let
were
him
made.
cook.
Let my boy cook.
So
Get,
Damian
get out of the
Lillard-
way. Tony wants the ball.
Damian Lillard.
He's doing the Poirot. He's got to set the table.
Yes, I'm setting the table. Thank you. I'm going back to things that were said earlier in the segment. So, Damian Lillard was the first pick from Giannis.
You've been
at the
just,
All-Star
just to be clear, just to set this up properly. You have spent 20 minutes through song and tears. You have been quiet. You have been observing. You have been preparing for this moment. You have been
Yes.
taking notes so that when the microphone swung to you, you would have written down rebuttals for all the haters.
Underline haters again.
Oh, come one more time. It's that people hate Miami. That's the number one thing, right? Because I got number one and number two. Number one, people hate Miami.
Jessica
they
agrees.
hate to see us win.
Jessica agrees with you there.
They love to see us lose. They love to have us in black, mourning, the chant, all that stuff. They love it because they hate us.
It is good, though. You have to admit that if hating is fun in sports and enjoying another team's fan base's pain is fun, it is even more fun to enjoy Miami's pain.
Because we're
partially
just so
our-
much better.
That's partially
why.
our fault, right?
No.
It's
God,
mostly our fault.
Yeah.
It is
It's not our
entirely
fault.
your fault.
Dan?
No one else's
careful.
fault.
Okay, let's get back to the
But
PSYOP.
but it is mostly our fault. I'm not going to put it all on Mike, but Mike does speak.
Why would it be my fault?
I'll tell you why. I will tell you why. Because Lucy's reaction and Jessica's reaction and Chris's reaction and the country's reaction is the same to, what do you mean Miami never gets the guy? Like, what the hell are you talking about? How many fan bases go their entire decades and decades and decades and never get the guy? Like, not like they got 3 of the guys 12 years ago and then got Jimmy Butler. Like, what are you talking about? It's a level of spoiled that has in this market has no precedent.
The point is, who cares about them? It's us. We care about us. We care about Miami. That's the number one point. Right. Who cares about Minnesota or the Washington Wizards, the Sacramento Kings? Who cares about them? It's about Miami. We're back to the PSYOP. 2022 All-Star Game. Damian Lillard, number one pick to Giannis. What if it was the Bucks all along? Right? What if instead of Damian Lillard coming out and saying, I only want to go to Miami? Of course, Portland would never agree to that. If he came out and said, what if I want to go to Milwaukee? Would Miami be on the table right now with a better offer? And would Damian Lillard be here instead of Milwaukee? What if it was Giannis who in the middle of the summer said, what? I'll leave. I don't care. I'll leave somewhere else.
That was a couple of weeks ago out of nowhere. He said, I'll leave.
I'll leave somewhere else. I don't care.
They better get better.
They better get better. And the whole thing was Damian Lillard was waiting in the wings the entire time, using Miami as a stalking horse for Milwaukee to lower their asset level to be like, hey, you know what? Corpse of Drew Holiday. We'll send Grayson Allen over to Phoenix. Hey, Portland, what if you get DeAndre Ayton? What about that one? They're like, oh, yes. We love big men that we don't know what to do with. Perfect. So, Damian Lillard, it was the Bucks all along. PSYOP from them. It all equals haters.
It all was, that's what it, and then it does. The formula does. The formula does always.
Now it makes sense.
Yes, now I understand in ways. All the reporting I was doing, I hate reporting. I do not like making information calls and just milking people for information. But I had it all wrong, and you have it all right. You see it in a way no one has seen it. And furthermore, you are right that if the Bucks, if he said, I only go to Milwaukee, maybe the Heat do try and get in. And like, what about us? Maybe they do up their offer a little bit.
I just imagine a huge cocktail party with Cronin and the Ringer staff, and Woj walking in like that Roy Williams gif.
Yeah. And it was
all laughing at you.
Yeah,
we are hypocrites because we're like, you have an agenda. What? We're like literally a stone's throw away from people
we're right
beating
there.
us.
We're right there. The people at the Heat, they work right across.
You have an agenda.
They work right across the
Who's
street.
the point guard on this team?
Well, Kyle Lowry has a value now.
Woof.
No, maybe Goran Dragic. I don't know.
Oh dear God! Come on, what are you doing?
What am I doing? I'm just saying what they're doing. What are they doing?
What is the best of the reactions that you guys saw? Because I don't know what generally happens around here. I'd be curious for Jessica and Lucy's perspective on this, because what often happens around here, this has been 12 years of this very aggressive sports fandom around this team. And when there's winning, you view all of the post games and you can't sleep at night. You're enjoying it. And when you lose, you turn the televisions off. When you lose in the finals, you don't even want to see the parades. You turn the televisions off and stay away from your devices for a couple of days. I'm curious what the reaction around here was yesterday, because the stakes felt like a finals game, and because you knew that one of the consequences is everybody laughs at you, because that's where the Heat have been for 12 years. You either win or everyone laughs at you. Do you think that they were hiding? Do you think that they were in their mentions? Do you think that they were aggressively seeking out people who were seeking out their tears?
My first reaction was I was scared, because I've had a hard time getting people to be nice to me in Miami. They're definitely not going to be nice now. They're going to be even meaner and crankier than normal. Yeah. I'm terrified.
Yeah, they're already pretty moody, our entire community.
I just can't believe how wrong all of you were. Yeah. You were so wrong. So wrong. I think it was like a month ago I came in here and I was like, so what's the deal? When is this trade going to happen? And every single person here was like, oh, it's going to happen. Like, it's going to happen.
It happened.
It didn't happen. It didn't happen, guys. You guys were all so wrong.
Your smile. The amount of pleasure that you specifically are deriving at the center of our show, that is good. No, but you have it exactly correctly identified. Yes, everything that happened around here was wrong. Look at Chris Cody. He's nowhere near a microphone.
Can we get this damn Lillard picture off here? It's just making me furious. I mean, he looks fantastic in it, and it's just... I'm done with it. All right, the bit's done. The song's over. Get all these stupid pictures off here. Let's move on. Can we talk Marlins?
What do you mean the bit?
I mean, Jesus Christ. Every team is great right now down here. Why are we sad? The Dolphins are great. The Marlins are in a playoff hunt. The Heat made the finals last year. We are good. All right, I'm not sad at all.
Lucy, did you just say thank you? Because it sounds like you want to be positive about sports, but it sounds like Jessica's positive about sports. Is sit a little while on how wrong you guys were.
Join me in
Her
hell.
positivity is making me feel better, honestly, because someone's nice here. Someone's enjoying this moment, and I'm happy.
Why do we need 3 Lillards? One would be fine.
Well, that's how all this started, because Mike in 2010 got 3 Lillards, and now he wants all of them every time they become available.
Built, not bought.
That's one of the funny things that's going to happen here. Lillard and Giannis are famously loyal guys who stayed with their teams to win and didn't join any of the super teams. And now you've got 2 of the famously loyal guys that everybody kind of likes. The country just roots for those guys in general. They've done it the right way. I admire them. They're obviously stars. And as the super teams fight, Milwaukee's the favorite now, right? I mean, I thought Milwaukee was better than Miami Milwaukee was better than Miami all of last year until they played 5 games in the playoffs.
That's the thing. The most poisonous reaction outside of Blazers fans, which were, getting mad at the wrong people, I think, because the media was telling them something and Miami hadn't, according to you, hadn't spoken to Portland in quite some time, is everybody was so united in that team can't get that guy. Whatever it takes. Let's write a bunch of articles. Let's have 1 million draft picks going to Portland. Let's make it really look like Miami's got nothing to offer here, because we are screwed if this team that went to the NBA Finals adds Damian Lillard.
Isn't that fair from them, though?
I mean,
shouldn't they be doing that?
It's weird because they didn't keep their eye on the ball, because their teams also suffer from this, because Milwaukee is damn good now. damn good. What they were lacking, and you saw it with their superstar that almost threw the ball out of bounds. Yes, he had a great NBA Finals, played through injury, but he's afraid of going to the line. He does not have that killer instinct. And what Damian Lillard brings to that team was something that was sorely missing from them.
Can we, for a second, just backtrack and take a close look at the fact that when Tony says the haters, your love of seeing Miami lose, if you're a basketball fan, must be pretty damn strong if your reaction is happiness that Miami is embarrassed today when Milwaukee is better with Lillard than Miami would be with Lillard. They just built a super team and no one's mad about it. Like, that's not usually how that one goes when someone gets to a super team and they become the reason Mike was so emboldened with the arrogance, and I want to get to the persecution complex in a second, is because the hatred started of Miami with, oh, LeBron, Bosh, wait, now we can talk all our shit. No one's going to beat us. And the rest of the league knew it and got mad at that because it's not fair. It's not fair for one team to have all the guys. Everyone got mad at it when it was Kevin Durant going to Golden State. But we found the two guys when the organization gets the power back. We found the two guys who everyone's going to like as a super team. Like, nobody's going to have any objection. Milwaukee is better than everybody. Milwaukee, I thought, should have won the title last year. I thought they were better than everyone all of last year. And it was one of the biggest surprises of my career to see that Miami Heat team not only beat them, but beat them in 5 games. It made no sense to me. And now you add Lillard. How did the betting odds change on Milwaukee as a betting favorite? Because I would assume, no matter how loudly Phoenix is doing things, that the Milwaukee Bucks are now a prohibitive favorite, I would think. Because I thought that Milwaukee was the best team in the league last year. I wanted to watch a Milwaukee-Denver final because I thought Giannis was already better than Denver. But let's get back also to the persecution complex because, Jessica, I see you roll your eyes, and you have to understand that Mike Ryan, being a part of the University of Miami's invention of we have a persecution complex, but we are also persecuted. We see these alignments everywhere. Mike Ryan is yelling about how can the league and the media and everyone conspire to do Portland's bidding nationally in the reporting and everything else, every podcast he listens to. So he has a persecution complex already, and he turns it into everyone is out to get us. Everyone is conspiring together to screw the Miami Heat.
It is a great narrative to have if you're a sports fan, because I think a lot of sports teams like want to have that there's a target on our back thing, because then it makes it more satisfying when you can turn it into like, not only are we playing a game on the field, but all of these systems in place are designed to make us lose, and we have persevered through all of it. And now Milwaukee's plus 390 on DraftKings to win the NBA championship, and it remains to be seen if what they're going to get for Jrue Holiday. It might end up being the better offer. We don't really know what Miami's offer is, like you said, and none of those things mean that there is any big conspiracy theory to make Miami bad.
What they said about our team, I cannot believe. It's Miami versus everybody, and it's always been.
Always has
Miami versus everybody.
That's right.
What were the odds before they became plus 390 on?
The internet doesn't work.
I'm looking for it.
No, but the reason I asked the question is because I don't think that we would have gone into next season the way the Bucks were built.
Quick, Google DraftKings Sportsbook, but yesterday.
Saying Milwaukee was a favorite. I don't think that the betting money would have landed on Milwaukee as it was constituted. It would have been one of the favorites, one of the contenders, but I would assume that Denver would have better odds and that Phoenix would have the better odds. And so I'm asking how much the line changed on that, because I think it's relevant that as we talk about this, the laughter at Miami and at us seems to be louder than whatever the objection would usually be to a super team being built, because Giannis is good enough to beat everybody without Damian Lillard's help.
They were in the plus 650 range somewhere on DraftKings Sportsbook, right? Sandwiched between the Celtics, the Suns, and the Lakers at plus 1,200. The Heat dropped all the way to plus 2,800.
Yeah, while you can.
My honest question, like, how do the Heat spin this now? Like, when you're having struggles,
we'll find
20
out
games into the season.
We'll find out from Dan.
Tyler Hero better play well. I mean,
He better be amazing.
The Heat did this to him. They put a lot of pressure on him this season. I say that kind of jokingly,
Better
but
play well?
Dude,
yeah.
Jovic better be Luka. Better be Luka.
Is Luka available?
Why are you calling Drew Holiday a corpse? Look at his 3-point percentage over the last total of seasons compared to Lillard's.
Is that a real thing? Because I almost fell out of my chair when I saw Woj list the teams that might be interested in Drew Holiday's services.
He's messing with us now.
And he mentioned the Heat. I mean, come on. Are you kidding me? Oh, no, we're never making a deal. Ever. That's it. Excommunicado.
That would be amazing, because then you're going to have to talk about how awesome that
if we give up Hero
was.
for Holiday.
Oh, I am rooting for that.
It is fair. It is fairly amazing that nobody knows accurately what the offer was, though, right? Like if Portland.
I mean, Shams had reported previously, and it's being reaggregated that you can draw the conclusion that maybe Portland wasn't ever really serious about this, because they led their calls with, all right, Jimmy Butler or Bam Adebayo coming back to us, and that's something that you actually mentioned that it was met with laughter over across the street. We don't know what the offer could have been because they weren't talking over the last few months, and therein lies the problem, because you finally had the superstar do all the things, and you didn't do all the things yourself. You didn't. You approached it with arrogance, thinking like, okay, if there is someone that could possibly top this, and there might very likely not be, they'll come back and circle the wagons with us. But no, we made it personal, apparently. Or I like Tony's theory that this was a plan all along.
The persecution complex, it really has been, Tony, you can speak to this, just in general, walking around being loud and brown, being somebody who has a lot of confidence. In general, I think that the country doesn't particularly like Miami, right?
100%. 100%. And sometimes when you walk around loud and brown and just people are averse to your position at all times, right? There's things that you say and they're like, no, you're an idiot. There's something that behind the scenes here I brought up like 3 months ago. All of a sudden, Ryan Russillo says it on his podcast. It's the greatest thing of all time. When I said it here, I got laughed at.
Hold on, Mike, what's on your phone? What are you looking at?
Jeremy handed me the latest from Shams, and it's, quote, for their part, league sources say the Heat were prepared in July and August to offer up to 3 first-round draft picks with Tyler Hero going to a third team, and multiple second-rounders and swaps along with expiring contracts, and 2022 first-round draft pick Nikola Jovic. But the Blazers were disinterested, with each side developing a level of contentiousness. That's a better trade than what they got. It's a way better trade. Jovic was spectacular this summer. They get 3 first-round draft picks, in which all they got back was 1 from Milwaukee, which will probably be in the 20s at best. And they're hinging their hopes on not having any leverage with Drew Holiday to kind of recoup that. Miami's offer is better. And if that Shams report, and this could all, by the way, there's an agenda behind this. It benefits Miami to put this out there. We don't actually know if this is accurate. You can question that, but Shams is pretty good at it.
I mean, I think it's debatable whether the offers are better. Like I think Heat fans are doing this thing of like, this was clearly the best offer, and clearly it wasn't.
It's fair, because DeAndre Ayton, if you look at what he's accomplished in the league, you're coming away with a finished product in DeAndre Ayton. And if you go by counting stats and you take out the whispers around Phoenix, you're probably touting that as way better than something unproven like Jovic.
Hold on a second, though, Chris. When you say Mike says it's a better offer and you say, well, clearly it wasn't, if I'm throwing in the variable of anger, spite, pity, and all the macro I'm giving you on relationship between Lillard and the organization saying, no, you don't have the power here. You're under contract. Furthermore, the league's going to put out an edict. You and your agent and everyone who comes after you is going to stop doing that, where you take the organization that you have a relationship with and you tell them that it's you and Miami and only Miami, and now you've nuked our ability to create a market. If you say, Chris Cody, clearly it wasn't a better offer, but I tell you, it seems to me, based on the questions I'm asking, if the Heat aren't getting information, it seems to me that Portland was hell-bent on, we will take the best offer that's not with this team that did this to us with our best player.
Probably telling people, just get close. Hey, if you can get close to this offer, he's yours.
An important piece of that Shams report that we shouldn't just gloss over is the ability to bring in a third team, because look, Phoenix was desperate to get out from that Ayton contract and all that was the DeAndre Ayton experience. They could have very well been the third team, and if you're touting that acquisition, we never know, because Tyler Hero would have been, according to that report, would have been going somewhere else.
Chris Cody's shaking his head sad. He wanted to be positive today. He wanted to laugh at the Cubs.
I'm all over the place. I want the Heat fans to have perspective. I want to know if Caleb Martin was really the big holdup here. I do want to know from the Heat's perspective who they weren't willing to give up, because I was probably willing to give that guy up. I would give for me, if you're starting with Butler, Bam, and Dame, you can get rid of the rest of them. We'll figure the rest out. If this was over Caleb Martin, I get it, he's a nice player, but that's we're never going to know that, though. So here we are.
Maybe we will. Let's instead hear all the ways we got it wrong.
Lillard to Miami is done. Rejoice. Get those number 0 jerseys ready.
It's not because they're trying to create the space to get Lillard, because they know they've got Lillard, that this is done, that this is essentially done, and all that needs to happen now is the agents have to agree to a couple more things.
No one will actually want to acquire a star that's going to come in and immediately make a mess of things.
And the reality of this conversation is there is no conversation. There's one offer out there, and it's for Tyler Hero, and he's a good enough player alongside the bevy of first-round picks that will be offered and the other types of money that'll fill in, that this will be a great deal. There would be no argument for any other franchise to get a great player like Damian Lillard for this type of deal anywhere but Miami.
It's Miami, and there is no wiggle room there.
Thank you for bringing up Woj.
But he's had bad looks.
Well, the Heat know that he is just agenda-based, shilling and bought and paid for by Portland. It's embarrassing. You're leveraged, Portland. Nothing that Woj writes is going to change the offer. The offer's the offer. It's the best one you're going to get from Miami, and they think it's the best one you're going to get. The offer is Hero, and Hero's the best one you're going to get from anybody. He's better than Maxey. He's the best you're going to get. You're boxed in. Lillard wants to be with us.
So once you apply reason to it, no one can come up with anything better.
I'm stunned by the mask being taken off of Woj this way, in a way that the Heat are yeah, you're just writing for Portland. That's not journalism. That's not journalism.
Didn't this just happen to Schefter not that long ago, though? This journalism wing is not quite what it was in the information game. That part is completely different, and those guys might be capable of doing some journalism, but the information game at this point is not journalism.
What he is engaging in is protecting one of his closest sources by giving them cover by saying, well, there's no way he's going to go to Miami. It's all poppycock.
James Lillard wants to be here. And you do whatever you want, Milwaukee. The Miami Heat are going to get James Lillard. Jessica won a championship yesterday.